This is a humidor that I could see being good for someone that is just growing in their collection, like I said, and they don't want to have to worry about losing as much humidity as you do in a wooden desktop humidor. This fits the bill for that. What's going on, everybody? Cigar Show Tim here, and I have got yet another humidor to unbox, tell you about, and, well, put through its paces. This one is coming from Manitan. It is a 150 count cigar humidor. It's a thermoelectric humidor. So, well, let's unbox this thing. Well, here it is unboxed. Let's open it up and get some initial thoughts on it. Foam inside the door, held together by tape there. Sticky tape. All right, so initial thoughts on it. We have a tray here with a seasoning tray that came with it. Little tray here with a humidor in it. This here is probably what held in the seasoning tray, if I'm being completely honest. So we have got an analog hygrometer right there, if you can see that. Right there. You can see where it is starting out. It is at 52% relative humidity. Yeah, relative humidity. All right, so we've got that tray that goes in the bottom. We have this here, a little wood piece there. That's supposed to be back there. Yep, there we go. That's supposed to be tacked down there. There's the instruction manual. Came with a cutter. And then we have this tray here. So we have two Spanish cedar trays, if you will, and then, or shelves, I should say. Two Spanish cedar shelves, and then we have one Spanish cedar tray. So here's all the instructions, all of that. Let's see if it's got anything fun for us to learn about. So, instruction manual. This is model number BW25D as in David 1. So, BW-25D1. Parts list, table of contents, information, before first use, installation. It does say allow 5 inches of clearance between the back of the unit and any adjacent walls. Before operating it for the first time, follow these steps. Allow it to stand upright for 2 hours before plugging in. This will reduce the possibility of any system malfunctions that may have happened during transport. I've had this sitting here for enough time I don't have to worry about that. Place it on a level surface, do all of that. Factory door removal. Wash the interior of the cooler with mild detergent and warm water. Make sure not to get the wood wet. Leave the door open and allow it to air dry thoroughly. If a, quote, plastic smell persists, place a dish of baking soda in the unit or stuff the cooler with newspapers overnight. When finished, let the unit run a full day to complete the airing out process. Drawer setup. The drawers and shelves included in this cooler are designed to sit flush with the front edge of the cabinet. This will allow air to circulate freely throughout the unit. When inserting the drawers and shelves, avoid pushing them all the way against the rear of the cabinet. Talking about seasoning it. Add distilled water to the included moisture container or add a sponge that is damp with distilled water. I'm not a fan of the sponge method personally, so I'll put some distilled water in this clear tray here and we'll let it sit in there. And it says to let it sit for about 3 days to ensure that it absorbs all of the moisture it needs to, and go until you are at 5% higher than the humidity you are looking to get your humidor to. Once it reaches the mark, you can begin to add cigars. You may add a few at a time in order to monitor the correct humidity and make sure that it stays at the level you want it at. If it drops too much, you can use the same seasoning method to bring it back up. During the entire process, it is recommended not to open the door unnecessarily, as this lets moisture escape and can delay the process. Same as with any other humidor, when you're seasoning it, it's like the analogy or the phrase goes, when you're smoking meat, when you're looking, you're not cooking. So leave it closed, and when you leave it closed, the seasoning process will happen the way that it's supposed to. Then it talks about operating instructions. Recommended that the cooler be installed in an area with an ambient temperature that is between 65 and 79 degrees. And it says this will prevent the optimum, if it's not in that area and it's in extreme cold or hot conditions, may cause the interior temperature to fluctuate, which will prevent it from being in the optimal 54 to 74 degree Fahrenheit range. And then it talks about the buttons on the display. So let's go to that real quick here. So on the left here, we have got Fahrenheit and Celsius conversion. We have got the light for inside it. This isn't plugged in yet, so that's why it's not going to do anything. There's no readout. Temperature up and temperature down. And then it does have the Celsius and Fahrenheit, so it'll show there as to what it is, and it'll have an LED showing you which temperature scale you are currently on. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get this cleaned up. I'm going to go ahead and throw the seasoning tray, the dish, in the humidor. Let it sit until it gets up to the proper humidity range. Again, it says 5 degrees above where it's desired. I'm actually going to test out and see how well this analog hygrometer does. I'm going to put in a digital one like I do with all of my humidors, and we'll go that route and see how it does at seasoning. Does it jump way up? Does it just gradually go up? Does it take the 3 days? Does it not take as long? So we're going to go through all of that, and I will come back in just a second here and let you know, well, next time you'll see me, it'll be seasoned. So here we go. Okay, so we're back now. It's been 3 days, and I want to update you on where things are with this Manitan humidor. So after 3 days, I checked it out, I looked at it, and wanted to see if the humidity had climbed up to where it says it should be in 3 days, and it hasn't. If you look here at the readout, you can see that I'm sitting really in the 40s in terms of relative humidity, and it has not really budged at all in the last day and a half with the distilled water tray sitting in there. There's a picture here, I don't know if you can see it, that shows the water tray with the little black line. I've got it sort of highlighted there for you. And it has not pulled much water out of this tray at all. So I went ahead and I've continued to attempt to hydrate the wood shelves and drawer that are in this humidor, and I've gone ahead and loaded up the cigars into the humidor as well. I'm going to have a different humidification system in here other than the distilled water that's going to take care of making sure everything stays where it needs to in terms of humidity. So if we look in here, it's a 150 count humidor. I've got cigars here in this tray. If you look down here, I've got the Casa Cuevas Habanos filling that up, and there are 40 of those cigars there, 2 20 count boxes of Robustos, and then on this tray here I've got 2 20 count boxes worth of Robusto on the Maduro blend. And so I've got 40 on the shelf here, I've got 40 down in the tray, and then I've got a box, as you can see here, just to show that it does hold boxes, and a box here of 20 Robustos, as you can see it right there, of the Casa Cuevas Coraline Maduro up there on the shelf. So you can see that it does hold boxes. They do fit in there. And as expected, as is typical, when you close the door and that little light, you cannot see what is on the shelves below it. It's my pet peeve in many different humidor brands. It's not specific just to Manitan, but there are multiple humidor brands that I wish would do lighting on the sides so it's flush, but you can see what's on each of your shelves. So let's go through it now. As you can see, I've got the handle here to open it. We've got the UV coated glass. We've got the Celsius Fahrenheit readout, 18 degrees there Celsius or 65 Fahrenheit. We have the light on and off. I just turned it off. And then the up and down temperature controls. So we open it up here and we have the 2 Spanish cedar trays that are in there. They don't have any kind of barrier or block or anything like that on the front to stop cigars from rolling off to the sides or out the front. There is a little bit of a lip, ironically, on the back side of these, and so I guess I could flip them around. You can see right here, if I hold it up, that little ridge right there, you can see that has that little lip right there. I guess I could flip it around and use it as the front. That is entirely possible, but I went just with how it was sent and how the shelves were put in, as you saw a minute ago when I did the unboxing and the initial thoughts. So with the two shelves that are there, I wish they had some sort of lip around it to keep cigars from rolling off to the side or falling off the front when sliding the shelves in and out. When it comes to the tray, the humidor right now is reading at 60%, the analog hygrometer, excuse me, and the one inside is reading at 54 now. And that's because it's open. It's more humid in my studio than it is actually inside the humidor, ironically, after 3 days of the distilled water sitting in that tray. And the analog hygrometer gets up to 60. I don't think it's accurate. I don't feel that it's very accurate. It's within probably about 5 to 10% relative humidity. I've seen variances up to about 10% relative humidity in how this is reading. But one of the things I wish were done differently, which is just a little fix, is there's no extra lip. When you look at the shelf here, this tray, there's no lip on the side. That would make it really nice to slide into one of the grooves. So this shelf could go up here, this could go underneath it into that groove right there, and then maybe have room for another box or something underneath that shelf. But it doesn't have that flexibility, it doesn't have that capability with it. I'm not sure why they didn't do that, but that's how this model is. What do I like about it? I like that it's quiet. It is not noisy whatsoever. Honestly, there have been times where I've looked to see if the fan even kicks on because I don't hardly hear anything at all coming from this unit. But it's a good thing. You don't want to have a humidor that's loud and you hear the fan constantly and all those different things. Another thing that I like is the closure on it is nice and solid and does really well. The glass is just a little bit tinted, not much at all, but it's got a little bit of a tint to it. And I like that because I can see inside. Even though the light does basically nothing for the lower shelves, I can see inside the humidor, and looking through the glass, I can see what I've got on the shelves, you know, hold a light up to it, or if it's in a well-lit room, things like that. I'll still be able to see what's on each of the shelves. So those are some things that I like. Some things that I wish would be corrected or improved upon, obviously the light. It's kind of unique and interesting that the light on this one is actually blue. It's not white or clear at all. That is the true blue color coming from the light. So I'll close it. You can see right there, or if I close this, you can see in the back of the cabinet right up here, you can see that it's a blue light. Kind of interesting that they went with a blue color. Obviously, I have blue lights here in my studio, so I like blue, but interesting choice of coloring for the LED light. So does this hold 150 cigars? Right now, it's got, with the 20 count box, the 40 cigars on the second shelf and the 40 cigars that are down in the tray. Right now it's at 100. Do I think it could fit 50 more cigars? I don't know that it can. And here's why I say this. Because the tray doesn't have the ability, or the tray doesn't have the ability to slide up and go into a slot, I don't know that you're going to get the full amount that it's claimed, unless you put this tray on one of the shelves, move it up, and then stack a whole bunch of boxes, or, you know, stand up a whole bunch of bundles or things like that. I don't know that you're going to get 150 cigars into this humidor. I didn't try it. I just wanted to go this route and see what it looked like with all of those in there. And as you can see with all of those cigars in there from Casa Cuevas, that it fills it up pretty well with the 100 cigars that are, you know, in there space-wise. So who is this humidor for? I would say that this is a cigar humidor for an entry-level cigar enthusiast that has 50 to 60 cigars, maybe 100 cigars. And I say that because it doesn't have any of the bells, the whistles, and it's going to take a little bit more attention to maintain the humidity in this humidor compared to other humidors that are out on the market right now. This is a humidor that I could see being good for someone that is just growing in their collection, like I said, and they don't want to have to worry about losing as much humidity as you do in a wooden desktop humidor. This fits the bill for that. Do I wish that there were some things that were done a little bit nicer and just a little bit differently? Yeah, absolutely I do. But again, I see this as being an entry-level thermoelectric humidor. It's cooling only, it's not cooling and heating. And so if you're just looking at getting into cigars and your collection is just past your 75 count desktop humidor, you may want to check out Manitan. Completely up to you. I want to thank Manitan and Lou and the team that reached out to me and wanted my honest feedback of this. Is it a bad unit? No, I don't think it's a bad unit. Does it have things that I wish could be improved upon? Yeah, but it's my honest take and it's my honest impression of this unit. Does it work well in terms of storing the cigars and all that? Yeah, let's look at the base functions of what this is for. It's for storing cigars. Does it store cigars? Yeah, it does. Are you gonna have to pay attention to the humidity? In my experience, yes. You may have a different outcome, so don't rule it out just because of my experience on this. You may wanna check it out for yourself. And so there's gonna be a link down below with some information where you can go and get one for yourself. There's a coupon code. So please go and check out the Manitan 150 count thermoelectric humidor if this is something that you are looking for. These have been my honest thoughts on this unit. Again, thank you to Manitan, Lou, and everybody out there for sending this my way for my honest feedback. But if you like this humidor, then I encourage you to go and check it out using the link down below and the coupon code. So that's gonna do it for this video. Enjoy your cigar journey. I'm Cigar Show Tim. As always, I'll see you.